So qualitative research is a little bit different. So there are times when we're interested in political phenomena that don't lend themselves to quantification or numbers. A case study is a qualitative method which involves intensive study of only one instance or case. Uh, so, like, how was uh, Kiyosama selected as British Prime Minister? Right, Kiyosama, British Prime Minister, only happened once. Cross case studies involve intensive study of two or more cases. So, how was the selection of Kiyosama different from Margaret Thatcher, Winston Churchill, William Fox? So, political science as a form of scientific research should have four characteristics. So, social science research involves making inferences, which can be defined as the process of using the facts we know to learn facts we do not know. Science is public. Whatever we do should be able to be replicated. Conclusions are tentative. You should always be able to be open, at least, to the idea of being wrong. And science is defined by method, not subject matter. So there are problems also in comparative research. We're controlling oftentimes a very large number of variables. And variables are a function of real world politics. We live in a very diverse, complicated world. And that doesn't always lend itself to stable study. When we look at country to country, we try to compare like for like as best we're able, meaning it doesn't tell me anything particularly useful comparing the United States system of healthcare to the healthcare of the country of Denmark. We are in the United States an exponentially more populous and many times greater in area. Denmark is a country of a few million people and isn't the size of one of the states on the eastern seaboard even. So what does that tell us? Okay, Denmark, the healthcare system out there works great. We're taking care of fewer people in a more concentrated area. Does that really give us any useful information to run with in the United States? Maybe, maybe not. We're controlling also for the interaction of variables. In other words, multi-causality. So variables are interconnected and interact. And a single variable isn't really ever going to explain a problem effectively. We're also limited the number of cases to research. We're limited by the number of countries in the world. There are only, what is in the UN, 207? Yeah. Even if we study some subset like political parties, the number of cases are still small. We're eventually going to run out. Limited access to information from cases. Information isn't always easy to acquire. For example, when I was working on my master's thesis, I was, well, I'm not particularly well off now, but I was really not well off then. And my thesis was on the use of the royal prerogative in Australia in 1975. A lot of the information I needed was hidden behind Australian government paywalls. So there was not a whole lot I could do. And like, if you want to find something out, you can't exactly walk into communist China and, ask and expect people to be forthcoming. So there are barriers to getting all the information that you need. There are uneven research across cases and regions. Comparativists focus on regions, and not all regions are equal. I mean, Western Europe is studied to death. Sub-Saharan Africa, not so much. Cases are selected on the basis of effect and not cause, so there's selection bias in comparative research as well. They're selected because the researcher knows the country's language or finds it of particular interest. I cannot speak Korean. I mean, it would not really make a whole lot of sense for me to go and immerse myself in Korean politics. There would only be so far I could go. Variables may be either a cause or an effect. So that, again, that's endogeneity. Countries, for example, with low rates of female literacy are far less likely to be democratic. We'll end with what the state is. This goes with the rest of the class, really. I cut the original slide deck here. So the requirements of a state are as follows. So there's territory, hard and soft aspects of territory. So the United States, we have hard borders. We know where we end and Canada begins in the north, and where we end in Canada and Mexico begins in the south. Right? Organizations that formulate laws. We have the United States Congress, the President, the Supreme Court, all out there engaged in implementing laws and making laws and seeing if they're constitutional or not. Agencies with coercive power. A monopoly of force, in other words, is considered legitimate. So, is the Army, for example, seen as an instrument that can go out and defend American interests and values? Are police officers trusted to protect us in our neighborhoods? These are state-sanctioned, nationwide sanctioned, town-sanctioned, and the use of force there is considered legitimate. Differentiated, state agencies are distinct from other organizations and agencies operating within the territory. So you're not going to walk into the fire department thinking that you're in the library. Sounds silly, but that's part of it. Units are formally coordinated with one another, so disaster relief, for instance, is FEMA, the National Disaster Relief, is it coordinating with state government actors? Is it coordinating with local volunteers on the ground to bring relief and comfort to whatever might have happened? And that's that. So that is a little bit of comparative politics. We are certainly going to hit it more as the semester progresses, but for right now, that's it.